guys, it's Kaylee, and today's Top 5 Wednesday topic is supposed to be your top 5 bookish goals for 2018, but I have just done a New Year's book tag, which basically takes you through all my New Year's resolutions and bookish goals for 2018 anyway, and I didn't want to repeat myself. I don't want you guys to have to be seeing basically duplicate content, so instead I decided to go back through the old topics and find one that I really liked that either I didn't get a chance to do when it came out or either was from before I was doing Top 5 Wednesday. And I found one from November last year that I was so excited about when I saw it and I didn't get the chance to do. And that is the top 5 authors that I wish I could write like. I thought that this was such a great topic for me personally because I do love writing. I would love to be a writer one day. Obviously there are some authors that I really look up to and who inspire me either with their work ethic or the type of writing that they do or just the way that they write. So let's get into those. I think there's a cat trying to get through my windows if you hear funny banging noises. First up has definitely got to be Rick Riordan. He brings books out like nobody's business. Like, most books stay in trade paperback for like 6 to 18 months, so looking at that is quite a good way of figuring out how quickly an author's bringing out books, because you can see how many trade paperbacks they have out at any given time. And for most authors it's one. They will have one book out in trade paperback at a time because it takes a long time to write a book. Some authors it might be 2, like will get in their most recent book like a month or 2 before their older book is kind of being phased out of trade paperback and we're getting the paperbacks coming in. Oh, there is a cat on my bed now, so my camera might actually start shaking. Please don't mess up my filming setup. Okay, no, you can't actually rub yourself against my camera. So Rick Riordan, at the moment, in the store I work in, I think we have 3 or 4 of his books out in trade paperback, which is insane. He's bringing out like 3 books a year. And I mean, his books are relatively chunky. They're like 500-600 pages. That is a lot of writing. Like, does he just hole himself up in his study and write and do nothing else? I mean, he's a father. Does he never see his children? How does this man find so much time to write? I don't know, but I'm amazed by it and inspired by it, and I would definitely love to bring out books at the rate that he writes them. And the best thing is they're all good. Like, Rick Riordan is not one of those authors who's been given a book deal so now the publisher keeps working with him because they've worked with him and they like working with who they've worked with before, like, and his books get progressively worse just because he's guaranteed to be published, so he doesn't really put much work into them. Like, his books are consistently amazing, so I'm blown away by him. Next on my list is Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes is not necessarily my all-time favourite poet. He's definitely up there with my favourites, but I'm a big Sylvia Plath girl. She's back. Liking Ted Hughes too much always feels like a bit of a betrayal to me, but I really love the way that he uses metaphors and just the imagery that he creates, and I just think that he's such a visually compelling poet. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, he creates such descriptive scenes that so clearly come to life in my mind, so I really like him for that, and I wish that I was better at doing that because I feel like I'm not that good at world building, and if I do world build I can't do it in a really beautiful way. It's just sort of like, this thing is there, this thing is there. Okay, I kid, my writing's not that bad, but I just wish that I could use imagery that beautifully to describe what I'm saying. I love George R.R. Martin for world building. He is definitely not going on the list for how often he can bring books out, but I think that he world builds really beautifully. The Song of Ice and Fire series, every part of that world is so crystal clear in my mind because it's described so clearly and so fully. And then when I watch stuff in the show, like, it kind of confirms all of my beliefs that his writing is really clear and very, very much informs your idea of how the place should look, because clearly the people that created the show got exactly the same impression of the world as I did. And that's really cool. What are you doing? She's like biting a piece of paper that's attached to my bed. She's having a weird day, guys. Number 4 on my list is Stephen King, and I do enjoy Stephen King's writing. I find that sometimes his books, are a little bit chunky and they could be a little bit shorter. However, I do wish that I had the ability to take a story out for that long. Can you just sit yourself down and relax? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm definitely gonna have some camera shake from here on out. So often I'll think of what I think is a really great novel idea and then I'll sit down and start writing it and realise that I actually only have like 30 pages worth of material and I've managed to wrap up the story. I need to learn how to drag storylines out for longer but not drag them out too far, which I think he's very good at. So I would also love to be able to write like Lemony Snicket, which I guess by extension means I'd like to be able to write like Daniel Handler, but I've never actually read any of his Daniel Handler work, and I'm not really that keen to. It doesn't interest me at all. But I loved his work as Lemony Snicket. He had such a distinctive voice as a writer and as a character, and had just the right mix of condescension and support. Obviously one of those key things that you think of when you think of Lemony Snicket is he's always introducing the reader to new phrases, new words, new ideas, and it's just the right level between I'm trying to help you in case you don't understand, and you probably understand this, but I'm going to explain it to you anyway so I can show how smart I am. And he also has a habit of repeating words and phrases. Like, I think in one of the books he's talking about the water table or the water cycle, and he spends like a page just repeating the water cycle over and over and over again. He does it in such a way that it's not annoying or you feel like he needed to fill up a few extra pages so he repeats it a few things a few times. Just everything that he does is done so well that you can't help but love it. And the whole world that Daniel Handler created of creating this author and giving him an entire backstory and then putting it into the story, I love The Series of Unfortunate Events so much. It's one of those very like defining series of my childhood. It's great. So those are the top 5 authors that I wish I could write like. Hopefully this year I will continue to do more writing and continue to be inspired by these wonderful, all of them are men, that's probably not a good thing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, let me know who you would love to write like. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!